If you're not particularly happy with the feel of the friction and inconsistency, the way it gets loose in certain points, the way the vibration affects it in operation, I've come up with a solution. It's adding friction compound to the bottom of the lever. So that friction material will ride on this plate in a more consistent way. What seems to work about the best is cork. And I'll show you how to apply that. Materials you'll need obviously is cork, some glue to hold that cork to metal, so it needs to be something that can hold a bond to both metal and cork. This is a super glue ultra gel control, and it has a rubber compound in it. That makes it more flexible, and it adheres to just about anything. Tools that include some sandpaper, 100 grit, screwdriver, and a blade to cut the cork with. And I'm using some calipers, though that's really not necessary. It's just to get a decent measurement on it, but you can eyeball it. The end stops, located here and here, are about 1.2, 1.25 millimeters tall, and they're fairly square at the top. This plate, the material of the lever, is about 0.65, so you can have a friction material about 0.5 millimeters thick. Once you found some cork you like, cut a slab of it off roughly and level it out using some sandpaper. The lever is about 4 millimeters across. The plate is about 5 millimeters deep, and so roughly a patch of about 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters is all you need. And you want to cut it extra thick with your razor blade. You'll make a slice about a millimeter, or maybe even a little bit more, just so you make sure that it's not too thin. And it needs to be big enough so that you can create a 5 millimeter by 5 millimeter patch. We'll use some acetone to remove any surface oils from the lever on the inside where the patch is going to be applied. Trim the cork to a depth of about 5 millimeters roughly. Apply a small amount of glue to the area where the patch is going to be applied. Go ahead and smear it around a little bit, and then press the lever against the cork, and you can hold that for say 20 seconds or so. So it's attached. The bond strength isn't, it's not fully cured for about a day, but we can work with it in about 20 minutes, half hour. So we'll let it sit for a little bit before we work on this anymore. Now that the glue is somewhat cured, you take the razor blade and carefully trim it to the lever. This does damage your razor blade a little bit too, so you have to sacrifice something, but trim that off. And once it's cut off to the width of the arm, you're ready to sand it. Get some 100 grit sandpaper, and with this operation you need to go very light. And sand it down the very, very light pressure. The reason why you go with the fairly light pressure is because the cork will tend to tear and roll between the cork and the sandpaper, and not rather than cut. And you're going to get this down to about 1.2 millimeters total thickness, so that the pins on the clippers hit the metal and not the cork. So the idea here is you're going to try to get that cork low enough so that the pin solidly hits the arm with a lever and not the cork itself. And that cork will compress a little bit, so it will end up, even if it's just slightly proud, it will ultimately end up, the top of that pin will end up at about the top of the lever. Now with that, we can go ahead and attach it, and we'll give it a try. There it is. So to protect the cork from moisture and whatnot, go ahead and put a little bit of machine oil on it. That'll soak into it and won't affect the glue bind at all. And that's it.